Seth's going to start with the next portion of the breakdown, which we're going to, so we've separated the hind quarters. Now it's on to the front quarters.
And once again, we are going to just use a knife. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to break these front shoulders off without the use of a saw.
Most of this time, with a little bit of careful study, this animal is going to tell you by just visual cues where things go together. And usually what you'll find is when you're between the muscles, you're going to find that membrane that separates the muscles, so you can follow that membrane. Obviously experience plays a major role here, but hopefully with the use of this video, you're going to gain a shortcut. So just follow the steps that Seth's taking here.
As you can see, I make little cuts, and then the muscle piece, it pretty much just pulls right out.
And we do like doing this on the table because you can use that leverage. Obviously the weight of the carcass, you can use it, and he can pull up, and so he's applying pressure to that leg as he's using his knife. Two things that you're going to learn in processing are pressure, or or leverage, and then angles. It's just about finding the correct angle, making sure you're in the right spot, and then just using the leverage to gain the right pressure to take stuff apart.
So as you can see here, this is where the shoulder blade is. So inside here is where the bone's located. There's a knuckle here and a knuckle here. So what we're going to do is in the next video series show you, like we do, like we're going to with the hindquarters, how to break down the shoulders as well. So the next thing we're going to go over is a deer shoulder. We're going to talk about a few things we can get out of here. Obviously, we can trim this out and we can use it for our grindings. I'm going to show you a couple little hidden secrets in here that you might not know about. First of all, located right on the top of this shoulder, right against the neck, in this little piece of fat, we have another gland. So you can imagine seeing this on the deer, right on the top of its shoulder, on the inside, right at the top of the shoulder blade, there is a gland that you're going to want to remove. So we're going to go ahead and discard that gland. And then just getting started, I like to just get this knuckle popped first and separate the shoulder blade from the rest of this shank portion. This portion right here, a little bit of it may be able to be used for some jerky or some stew meat or something like that, but today's application, we are going to trim it out for our further grinding. So while Scott works on that, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the rest of this. So as I trim this meat off the top of this, or actually the bottom of the shoulder blade, you can see that it exposes that bone. Flipping that piece over, and you could certainly cut this in half and use it for a roast or something like that. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. So this is called the top blade steak, or otherwise known as a flat iron. You've probably seen them in a grocery store from a beef. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to cut it from a deer. So following this bone, there's actually, on both sides, there's this bone that runs a whole length. And if you cut on, you can cut on both sides if you'd like, but if you cut on this side, it's going to be the wider portion. You can pull this flat iron right out of here. Slowly working it out. And if you take your knife and you cut right down against the bone, you can remove that whole muscle, which used to be located right here. You can just pull that whole thing right out. The rest of this we would use for maybe some stew meat. You can cut a little bit of jerky out of it if you want to. I'll take the time to do that. What we're left with here is the shoulder blade. You can see the wider portion is where that top blade steak's located that we're gonna finish out for the flat iron. So we just start trimming here. And as you can see, we end up with this real nice muscle. This piece, this top blade piece. So we have a real nice muscle on this side and a real nice muscle on that side. We do have to separate the two. So here again, using the fish fillet method, just go ahead and work your knife down along that sinew. You can see it exposes that silver skin there. So you have this piece. Go ahead and flip it over. Doing the same thing on this side. Slowly working your knife down that silver skin, exposing this piece. So what you're left with is a venison flat iron. They're not very big, however, they are very tasty, and if you want to take the time to pull those out, it's a great addition to your steaks, and they're very tender. Most people don't know they're located there. We just place them back in. That's where you would find your flat iron. So as we continue to go through the shoulder, Scott's working on the trimmings. We have another one, of course. So here again, you could use it for a roast. You can cut some jerky out of it. You can pull your flat irons, or you could trim it out, the rest of it, what's left, for your grindings.